The general idea of performance might seem pretty common sense. It's one of several terms we'll use in this class that are also used in day-to-day conversation. Most of the time we're using them in a similar way, but it's always good to think about what a word means in a given context. In this case, that can prompt us to think about the influences on performance and whether there are different types of performance. First, though, what do we mean by performance? The definition we'll use in this class is actions or behaviors relevant to the organization's goals. Referring to an organization might make you think about paid work, otherwise known as jobs, but the idea also applies to non-paid work, like volunteering. If we think about it as being similar to a dance, acting, or musical performance, it might help us understand how the definition can be used to analyze a situation to better understand what's going on. For example, when we see a parent and a child interacting. Breaking down the definition also helps us think about how it helps us understand our experiences in a variety of situations. The first part of the definition is actions or behaviors. So we're talking about something a person's doing, like the dancer moving their body or the actor delivering their lines. In parenting, a parent interacts with their child. The second part is that the action or behaviors are related to goals. In other words, the idea is to get something accomplished. Actors might have the goal of helping an audience understand the story. Dancers might have a goal of encouraging a particular emotion in the audience. A parent's goal might be to calm a child or just to keep them safe. The third part of the definition is that the action or behavior is within the control of the individual. For an actor, the way they move and deliver their lines is within their control, but lighting and sound systems probably aren't. A dancer can control how they move, but not how other dancers move. A parent can control what they say and do, but not noises or other things in the environment that can influence their child. The next logical question might be, what influences performance? Campbell's model of determinants of performance is a good starting point. He says that performance is the product of knowledge and motivation. More specifically, two types of knowledge: knowing about something and knowing how to do something, labeled declarative knowledge and procedural knowledge. If we combine this with the definition, this means the actions or behaviors are the product of knowledge and motivation. The motivation part of the model is another way to think about the goal. Thinking about it that way helps us realize this is predicting what a person will do, but not necessarily if the behavior is desired. In other words, it helps us think about good performance, bad performance, and unusual performance. Campbell's model seems a little disconnected from the definition, though, because we can question whether some of the determinants he includes are within an individual's control, particularly when we look at the things that contribute to knowledge. This is another way industrial organizational psychologists think about the influence on performance. It's pretty similar to Campbell's model, but also includes situational constraints, which is another way to say things that are not within the individual's control. The fact that I can use a definition of performance to talk about everything from a job to dancing to parenting might make it seem like it's too general to be helpful in some situations. Indeed, the fact that the definition and influences can also result in so many different behaviors is part of the reason scholars have also started to categorize behaviors into different types of performance. Campbell concluded the combination of knowledge and motivation results in 8 types of behavior in work settings. According to this model, 3 of the types are required for all jobs: doing the job, personal discipline in terms of attendance and other expectations, and demonstrating effort. The other 5 types of behavior may or may not be part of a job. One of the things we'll learn about later in this class is job analysis, which is a process that helps us determine which, if any, of the other 5 types of performance are part of a particular job. We can also categorize performance into categories other than Campbell's components. The term task performance is used to refer to behaviors that are formally included in a person's job. In other words, a formal way of saying doing the job. Things are rarely as simple as just doing a job, though. That's when some of the other ways to categorize performance comes in. The book talks about a few, and we'll focus on 2. organizational citizenship behavior, and counterproductive work behavior. Those terms might seem a little complicated because I have a feeling the ideas are pretty common sense. Organizational citizenship behavior is going above and beyond what's expected to help others or to positively contribute to the organization. Counterproductive work behavior is sort of the opposite. It's behaviors that could hurt others or hurt the organization. This makes me think of my 5-year-old niece and my 2-year-old nephew and their performance as family members. One part of task performance would be putting away their toys when the parents ask. Organizational citizenship behavior would be putting them away before they're asked, and counterproductive work behavior would be throwing other toys into the pile on the floor and spitting. There's a chance I might occasionally witness some counterproductive behavior. Whether it's my niece and nephew, actors, dancers, parents, volunteers, students, employees, okay, you get the picture. It's helpful to think about the behavior that results from the combination of motivation and knowledge. That train of thought also helps us consider what is and is not within a person's control. We can also think about how the behavior relates to the task at hand, as well as the way it impacts other people and the setting in which it takes place. I use a variety of examples to try to make the ideas clear so you can understand how they help us understand employment and volunteerism. Hopefully that also adds to your confidence about applying the ideas to understand your experiences at work and in other settings.